Our staff has really been talking about this next topic of discussion. I think it's going to have a lot of parents thinking about your kids really on an individual level. So straight A's, star athlete, class president, all sure signs your child has a healthy self-esteem, right? Well, not necessarily.
There's the shock right in there. Kids who look exceptional on the outside may feel worthless on the inside. Therapist Julie Hanks is here. Do most parents find it a surprise? Are they shocked when they find out their kid who looks great on the outside is struggling with self-esteem on the inside?
Yes, most parents think that, oh, my child is doing well in school and they're actually excelling. They must feel good about themselves. But that's not necessarily the case. Performance and worth are not the same thing.
And that's an aha for a lot of people.
Yeah, performance and worth are not the same thing. So just because a child excels does not mean they're going to feel good about themselves.
But we often directly link the two.
I know.
As parents and as cheerleaders, we try to, build them up. And
right.
As a result, we might be doing some harm along the way. We're going to get to that. First, so the key to assessing your child's self-esteem, you say, is knowing what's normal and what's not. So what are those things, those parameters we should be looking for?
Well, there are four, I call them the 4 C's of self-esteem. The first one is competence. So they need to have the skills to face whatever they're going through. So if they're going to the first day of preschool, do they have the skills to face that and manage, okay, there's this new environment and play with friends and those kind of things.
They know how to act, they know how to behave.
Right, or if it's high school. So you want them to have the skills to manage whatever is coming their way. And then the confidence is a belief in themselves, that whatever's thrown at them, they can manage it. The third is really important, and we often discount this one. It's connection. The ability to connect with parents, family members, peers, and to give and receive love and support. And then the fourth is coping skills. So when things don't go their way, how do they manage that? Or when they're scared or when they're sad, do they have healthy ways to cope with that?
Okay, the key now is out there, parents who have heard you outline the 4 C's. When do parents need to worry? When does a red flag go up? You've got 4 things to watch out for. Let's start with number 1. You say excessive focus on performance. What do we mean by that?
So perfectionism. If your child is just really focused on, I have to get straight A's or I have to be the best. A lot of parents, like we talked about at the beginning, think, oh, that's great. Not necessarily. I have worked with so many high school athletes who are exceptional. And they are so, with talents, they're exceptional. Then what happens if you break your leg and you're a gymnast, or you have some kind of injury? Then your self-esteem falls out if you define yourself on that one exceptional thing.
So as parents, what do you do? How do you word that so that they are separated, the performance and the worth?
Well, what you want to do is help your child have experiences that broaden their self-definition. So we're not just focusing on performance, but we're focusing on what are your internal qualities that we value. What are your relationship skills? And one way to do that is to broaden your child's view of the world. And I have a brother and sister-in-law who took their large family to Peru. They skipped the cruise and they went and volunteered in an orphanage. And I'll tell you, that impacted their kids' self-esteem because they realized, I can make a difference for another human being. They were doing something good. They felt competent, confident. All of those things improved because their worldview changed, and so their view of themselves changed.
When we talk about self-esteem, naturally we play up the positive. Okay, so looking at the other side a little bit, the negative, it seems almost normal, especially I'm thinking of teenagers, for them to every once in a while get down on themselves or maybe be discouraged and say discouraging things about themselves. At what point does that negativity become a red flag for parents, a concern?
Well, if it's chronic or if it's ongoing. So, everybody has a bad day here and there. But if your child is chronically saying bad things about themselves, or they may not be saying it, but they may be neglecting themselves, not taking care of their physical appearance, withdrawing from peers. So you're going to watch for behavioral signs, too, that they don't feel good about themselves. Or if they're blaming other people for any problems, so it can go negativity towards self or toward other people.
Another warning sign you say is their fear of trying new things. A lot of us are afraid of trying new things. Is that really a red flag, or when do we need to worry that that's really something we need to be cautious about?
Fear is, reluctance and fear are different. Okay. So we're all a little bit like, oh, we're anxious, I don't want to look stupid, I don't want to look silly, but fear and saying, I'm not going to try that, I'm not willing to take a risk, that's a red flag.
You say the way you praise your child can actually make a big difference, and I was interested to know in your articles, I was reading over some of your notes, and your article is just fabulous. I was laughing it up. I encourage all parents to read it. You made a point, though, that we should not praise the child for a specific activity and express our emotion, our love for them at the same time.
Which I thought was completely backwards. I didn't understand that at all.
But explain that.
So there's some great research about praise. So praising your child's effort versus their, like, you're so smart, you're so pretty, your general praise is better. But it's important to separate the praise from the love, because what if you're saying, oh, great job, you got, you know, straight A's, I love you. Well, what if the child fails? Then it creates this fear that the parent's love will go away. We don't think about that, do you?
Yeah.
So you want to praise the effort, because that's something that a child can actually control, right? If you just say you're smart, you're smart, you're smart, you're pretty, you're handsome, they can't control that.
It's okay to express love when you're talking about their effort, but not necessarily then just about the results. Is that sort of it? Or take them both separate?
And express love. Don't link them together.
Keep them separate.
Yeah. It's confusing, right? But if you're linking a positive behavior to love, what if they're a naughty kid that day?
Right.
You don't want them to fear your love. Your love doesn't change.
Those are days I don't love them. I'm telling you right now, I don't love them.
The love goes out the window, right? You be good or I'm gonna.
One of the keys, they say also, is to lead by example, that parents need to have the proper self-esteem, and the kids can learn from that.
You know, so often parents will just heap this praise on their, oh, you're so this and you're the best, and then parents beat up themselves. Who you are and how you feel about yourself is more important than anything you can say or do for your child. You're modeling how to be have that self-confidence, have that self-esteem by who you are and how you treat yourself. And don't forget that.
Fabulous advice, Julie. Thank you so much. More tips on boosting and raising a child with high self-esteem available on our website for you. Check out Julie's article at studio5.ksl.com.
Coming up, behind the blogs, the writers, their reality, and is it realistic?
Two big local bloggers respond to some national attention on the so-called perfect snapshot of mommy bloggers. That's still ahead, so stay close.
Do you